panel focuses on fire life safety in the era of electric mobility. I think electric mobility is the buzzword now. And as our cities embrace this new energy, fire safety can no longer remain just a compliance checkbox. इलेक्ट्रिक मोबिलिटी हमें स्वच्छ और स्मार्ट शहरों का वादा करती है, लेकिन तैयारी के बिना एक चिंगारी भीषण आपदा बन सकती है. इसी कारण कि ये चर्चे ज़रूरी है. And to steer the crucial discussion, may I invite on stage the moderator for this panel, Dr. D.K. Shami. Joining him for his distinguished panel are Dr. Prabhat Rahangdale, Shri Sandeep Goel, Shri Ananiya Prabhu, Shri Prashant Nayak. I now hand it over to you, Dr. Shami.
Hi, good evening. गैरी तेरी चाय में चीनी कम थी. Good evening. Still good कम था. Hi, good evening to all. With all excuses and my apology, I want to announce one thing. All previous panelists failed to identify a bomb which you are carrying in your pocket. Are you carrying bomb in your pocket? Yes. They failed to at least warn you that you are carrying bomb. I am carrying 2 bombs in my pocket. So that's what we want to talk about, the lithium ion batteries. And the growth, in the globe. Everybody is now talking about the EV or electrical vehicles or the development of our green energy. At the same time, we are inviting the fire hazards. And this we realized after the failure of few cars of Tesla. The big fires in China. All of you are aware about the big fires. And in a world over, people are keep on talking about the EVs and their development. And the growth factors, depends upon so many factors in the world. Like there is a factor we call the steps. There is a factor we called APS. And there is a factor which we call as a NZD. These all are the internal factor. And these are, in fact, the riders for your growth in the EV in the country. Now, to your surprise, that China is the number 1 in the electrical vehicles. At the same time, they have faced the biggest fire. You are aware about the bus fires, because of the EV. Almost more than 100 buses were gutted in the fire. Nobody could save them. There are instances where, they made the policy by Mumbai Fire Brigade after the EV fires in the basement. And all we started equally worried about that. Government of India is equally, started thinking over it, and proactively, Ministry of Power had issued so many guidelines, including the guidelines that if you are parking your vehicles in the basement, you should obtain NOC from the fire brigade. Do you think NOC is required for parking the vehicle in the basement? Do you think? Yes. Yeah, as per the Ministry of Power, it is required. But there is a conflict between the guidelines versus the statutory provision. Statutory provisions means all what we are implementing the state is only through the Fire Service Act, or there is a provisions of the state governments. Only Maharashtra had issued some guidelines about the parking of EV vehicles and the charging station. There is a big conflict going around for the parking versus EV charging stations. And I am lucky that I have a few panelists, and they know each and everything. I have the number 1 firefighters of the Mumbai, Dr. Prabhat Rahangdale. I know his strength, and he can definitely tell you the problem a fireman is facing as a statutory body, what all problem he is facing, and he had faced in the Mumbai or in the Maharashtra. Then I have one of the best standard and code writer, we call it. He is one of the genius in the Bureau of Indian Standard, and his name is Sandeep Goel. You must be knowing about him. He is one of the genius in that. And part 4 so far as fire safety is concerned, he contributed immensely. Right or wrong, that we will discuss later on, but he's the one who is the master of writing our 3-4 parts, since last 20-25 years he's involved him, and we salute to the way he is contributing in the National Building Code of India. The other one is the one from Prashant. Only in the morning he called me up, so I don't know much about it, but I'm aware that he can talk about the international, the case studies about the EVs. And another guy is very expert from the manufacturing industry. He can tell you about the little bit about the slow and the fast charger, why it is creating a problem. And in addition to that, he can tell what are the inherent the safety factors in the batteries. So now, instead of talking more and giving them more data, all of you are aware of that China is ahead of us. At the same time, they are facing big fires. But another thing I will tell at the last of it, that they have also developed the firefighting systems for the EV fires. That I will discuss later on. But my question, straightforward, I will start to Prabhat, because we should ignite more fire. After a break, everybody is thinking a little bit in a different direction. So Prabhat, I would like to ask you a few questions on your the way you have started making the policy. What makes you to make policies for these EV related things? Over to you.
Yeah, good evening. First of all, my more than a policy makers, because there are a lot of Mr. Sandeep, and I put my experience into the policy, to be frank with you. I was a hard-born firefighter for more than 35 years. So, no doubt, these are the challenges what we are posing, what are being posed to us, is because of the dynamic, the way we are, everything is changing. Everything is from infrastructure to mobility or anything you name about. Now, I'll ask from here, how many guys among you fought EV fire? Okay. Forget about EV fire. I'm asking about the battery fires. Yeah, very good. So the dynamic of the fire getting involved, the batteries getting involved into the fire is because of the domain effect, thermal runaway. Believe me, in one of the fire, we fought more than, my colleagues are there, we fought more than at least 14 hours, one fire spot, and थोड़ी देर में लगता है बुझ गया, and after some time it's like reoccurs. So that are the challenges. Apart from that, my personal experience, I was in front of JJ Hospital. There was a fire which was there in a normal, like a diesel ka gaadi mein. The bonnet was not opening. Luckily, I was just passing through. I just opened the bonnet. Udhar se matti liya aur then we extinguished the fire. But now in case of EV fire, I cannot. The reason behind, what kind of a extinguishing media what we have? See, the most challenging thing about the EV fire is the evacuation and the immediate extinction. Why normal fire extinguisher will not work? And apart from that, I don't know, I'm not going into that debate कि EV के लिए एक हम लोगों ने extinguisher बनाया. Now that whole battery pack is inside of the vehicle. Bonnet खोल के तो मैंने अंगार बुझा दिया, but how I am going to penetrate into that battery pack, that is also one of the challenging things. So the difference between, and apart from that, as far as my knowledge goes, because of the thermal runaway, the only thing what is left with you is to salvage. There was a recently a fire in one of the mall, wherein two of the EV vehicle got involved, and then around 15 to 20 vehicles were gutted. So there are means. There are the means in a sense. AFFF is banned now. Now the biodegradable foam has come. Why not to use? And then when you think about any kind of a foam, then the pH has to match, because you are using that into a sprinkler. So same pH. If you have a biodegradable foam, definitely it will help, because it have a very good cooling effect. So we have to think out of box. Apart from that, when I'm talking about the extinguisher, what kind of extinguisher is not at all important as far as the EV fire. What kind of a throw distance you have. If at all I wanted to literally at least salvage something, I should fight that fire from a safe distance. So that are the realistic kind of a solution what one has to take into consideration when you are framing some policy. Thanks.
That's true, but after that, after fighting the fire, you people had issued a kind of a directive, like a policy guideline. Okay, so Mumbai Fire Brigade, after the EV fire, they issued a kind of guidelines that you cannot park your EV vehicles in the basement. And you even can't install the fast charger or slow charger in the basement. And that particular guidelines is challenged by the builder lobby. And after that, Maharashtra government had issued a guideline that, you only remove all the fast chargers from the basement, but you can park your vehicles. So this all about the Mumbai story. Sandeep, before you, I would like to know from you, the battery itself, do you think battery itself is a bomb, is it dangerous, or do we have any kind of a safety? Because you are from the manufacturing sectors and you keep on, going ahead with the more and more batteries. So you can just tell us about what all it means so far as the safety is concerned for the EV batteries. Along with you can also throw some light on the charging facilities, slow versus fast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the question. First of all, I'd like to thank IIRIS and K-Works for this opportunity for me to be here. It's a privilege for me to address this panel. I'm Ananiya. I'm coming from Ather Energy Limited, where we are manufacturing electric two-wheelers. Coming to the battery, as per National Transportation Safety Board from US, every 1 lakh hybrid vehicles which is sold on the road, it has 2,000 fire cases happened. As per the same board, every 1 lakh vehicles sold using as IC engine, just petrol vehicles or diesel vehicles, 1,500 vehicles are fired. But when it comes to the electric vehicles, every 1 lakh vehicles sold on the road, only 25 vehicles got fired. So it doesn't mean that I'm using the EV scooter or EV cars that it has some bombs, right? So I don't believe that because if there is a bomb, you will never carry, right? But I don't think that, normally that we miss our phones, right? Even the sleeping also, I'm keeping in my phone nearby my head. So when it comes to the battery, as inherently, yes, there is a possibility of failures and it leads to major fire incidents. But at the same time, as when it is engineered product, right, and it is innovatively having the advanced technologies that if it has, then 100% we can avoid these fire incidents on the batteries. The first one is the foremost one. We need to understand the battery chemistry, which talks about the two prominent ones. One is the NMC batteries, which is we are calling it as nickel, manganese, and cobalt, which has a high potential in terms of energy density. At the same time, it is actually used for the performance purpose. When it comes to safety point of view, it has, because of the more density in it, it has some kind of instability in the thermal management, but it is also can be managed through advanced battery management system. So when it comes to Ather as a company, we are as an innovation company, we are engineered company, we do have advanced battery management systems which captures all the parameters in the battery, which monitors the voltage, current, temperature, all the point of moisture, everything. It is actually tracking or monitoring all the components, all the data, and then it is telling to the battery management team software what is the current state of the battery, whether it is right or wrong, or whether it's overheated, or whether it has a property damage, like physical damage or anything, whether it leads to potential failure. So it addresses all these things, and then it will shut down the power if in any case of failures. So when I'm saying NMC battery is highly potential for fire, but it can be manageable 100% through the advanced battery management systems. Also, right now we are working with LFP batteries, which is less than compared with NMC batteries. So those batteries inherently is coming up with high stability in thermal management. So there is not much requirement on the failure modes on the thermal runaway, and all, we are not worry about it. The second thing is, one is why the battery get fired, right? The foremost problem is the physical damage or anything like collision between the vehicles or anything happens to the battery. There is a possibility of battery failure and it leads to thermal runaway. And the second one is the battery cell itself. There is a manufacturing defect. That is I can say that the second level of risk. For addressing this, when it comes to Ather, we are checking 105 parameters in the battery while it is manufactured. I can say it is starting with 3 stages. One is the inward quality check, when the component of the battery pack is when it comes to the battery lines, it is checked by the team. And the second one is in-process quality. When it is assembled to the battery packs, we are checking that. And after that, end of the line assembly, after that also we are checking. So at almost 335 checkpoints are there for this battery manufacturing line. We are ensuring that all the battery packs are produced without single defect on the scooter. So you can say the past history, right now we have 4.5 lakh vehicles on the road. You can see that not even one incident that is explored like a fire incident occurred for Ather scooters. So when I am saying this, it is very clear and it is very proven that if you have the proper technology in place to take care of the battery thermal management, then you can easily carry this bomb. Not even a problem. And the second, coming to the charging facility or charging station or charging infra, Ather has a 4,700 charging infra across India. When it comes to this, so we start with, again, the same kind of check when you are installing the charging stations, ensuring that we are getting the proper certified components for the charging stations, ensuring that all the conditions and compliance we are following as per the regulatory norms, ensuring that the basic protections in terms of electrical safety, when it comes to that, we are also having the GFSEA, ground fault circuit interrupter for the entire circuit design, ensuring that we have the thermal management, even we have the grounding, we have the fire suppression system for the charging infra. All these are monitored, and then we are also having the tracking the data, ensuring that these particular charging stations are safe to use. But we are advising the users also to ensure that before and after use of any charging station, ensure that your cabling, your vehicle conditions, any damage on the cords, any damage on the sockets, that and all as a users we need to check, and then we need to abide the manufacturer manuals and then guidelines. If you do as per that, I can say that we can 100% avoid these fire incidents or fire issues in the electric two-wheelers or electric four-wheelers. And I can say, once again, I'm telling you, compared with IC engine, very likely we are having the problem with the EV mobility. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. You said, correctly that you have already provided more than 300 or 400 safety features. But we can't stop the accident. One of the cause for the Tesla car was that it hit the stone. It was, on the ground, and it hit that stone. And they parked it. After parking 1.5 hours, this thermal runway started really igniting the fire. And nobody could stop that one. So whatever you do, why Prabhat is worried about the EV fires, why I am worried as a firefighter about the EV fires, it is difficult to control it, number one. Once it ignites, it is difficult to fight the fire. We have to allow them to burn. And at the same time, we are not aware that how this explosive will take place, whether it is a small explosion or a big explosion, whether it will affect your structures, whether it will affect the adjoining car, whether it will create a cascading effect. That's my main problem. If once the EV car fire starts, we cannot remove it quickly, we cannot extinguish it quickly, but that are the methods which I will discuss at the end of it. I just want to ask from you, Mr. Prashant, You are exposed to so many national, international scenario where they are managing the EV fires. So can you share your experience of how the international community is managing these EV fires, or how they're handling the electrical vehicles?
Sure, thank you. So just to set the expectations straight, I'm sharing the stage with a bunch of experts here who are specialists. I'm a generalist. I've got 30 years of experience in the private sector security, and I'm not a fire expert like them. But I was put into this panel to kind of share my perspective. I'm based in Singapore. And Singapore has a unique way of dealing with everything. We've been hearing about how Singapore is managing the cybersecurity laws and data privacy laws, and it's kind of becoming a benchmark for the rest of the world to follow. I would also like to say that Singapore is a very small country, and maybe with a show of hand, do you know what is the population of Singapore? Anybody? It's 5 million people. Mumbai itself is 25 million, so you can understand the scale at which Singapore operates. It's very easy to put up regulations. It is very easy to put up governance, and even the cost of doing it. Coming to the vehicle, to the cars, I'm not sure if anybody is aware how cheap or expensive a car is in Singapore. Anybody? Yes, please. How much would like a Toyota Corolla cost in Singapore? Yes. Let me give you a perspective. A Toyota Corolla here probably would cost about $30,000. In Singapore, the cost of the car is $60,000. And the cost of buying a car, you need a license that works for 10 years. The license is about $100,000. So you end up buying a 1000cc car for about $150,000. Why I'm bringing this context is, it's very expensive to buy a car. And when you pay so much money to buy a car, the regulations come with it, right? Again, some numbers. Singapore, as a country, has 500,000 cars. Yeah, it's not a big-sized car industry. People depend on public transport. And 40% of that number is EV vehicles. Now, Singapore got into the game way back in time. And I think some of the things that Singapore does is very proactive than reactive. Even before they got the EV vehicles in, regulations were put in place. I've been hearing about challenges with EV charging points and parking those vehicles. Early on, Singapore designed their spaces, be it public housing, be it commercial buildings, open parkings, and even basements. So even basements have EV charging points. And they have factored ventilation, they have factored additional electric power points. So everything that would basically pose a challenge was factored way before they brought in EV vehicles into the country. And I think even in terms of regulations, you don't get substandard products inside. So I think that has considerably helped Singapore plan all of this better. And even in terms of public awareness, in terms of trainings, in terms of having firefighting trainings, Dr. Prabhat mentioned about the experience in managing battery fires. To compare two incidences, when Singapore had EV fire incident, the Singapore Civil Defense Force was already trained in managing that incident. So it was very quick, very prompt, and that's because of the proactive approach. Evacuations were done very quickly because there was public awareness that was created before they installed it. But if you look at the fire, that was a big case study in Kurla in Mumbai. The fire department did an amazing and outstanding job to douse the fire. But that came up with so many learnings, that came up with putting in more regulations, that came up with more trainings for the fire department. And then that's not just Mumbai. In India, you're having a challenge to train the entire fire departments of all the states in the country. So I think the scale is a huge challenge in India, but in Singapore, I know it's more like a case study. It's very easy because of the small scale to put in governance. I think I'll stop here, wait for questions.
Thank you, Prashant. Now, we have a genius amongst us. His name is Sandeep. And when I saw the first draft of NBC Part 4, 2025, it was a big surprise for me that few intelligent guys, they are thinking to restrict the EV parking with so many restrictions. So I was the first one who immediately sent my comments to them that your policy is contradicting with the Government of India's policy. The Government of India policy is that 30% vehicle will be EV vehicles. And in Mumbai, you are aware of it that there is a good numbers of basement where they want to park their vehicles. In all the premium apartments, they park all the vehicles in the basement. And if we restrict and if we park with such restriction, I don't know it is possible or not. So I would like to understand from Sandeep that whether someone has intentionally thrown that questions or the right different kind of recommendations to find out what is in the mind of the peoples. So I'm sure that based on that particular recommendations in the draft, they must have got more than hundreds of comments over that, including the comments from the Ministry of Power, those who are propagating to have our EV vehicles. So now it's something which I would like to understand from you, because a word in the National Building Code of India Part 4 is a Bible for us. I was in the Government of India, I keep on pushing the National Building Code of India, and after my pushing, 29 states had adopted the National Building Code as a statutory requirements. So it will affect a single word, which Sandeep will reflect in the Part 4, will affect us. So I would like to hear from you, from the horse's mouth, that what is in their mind. Sandeep, over to you.
Sir, at the outset, I think we are extremely grateful to you for your contribution in making the National Building Code the Bible of the country. You have done immense, I would say, work to say follow the book. As you said, right or wrong, but that's the book to follow. And I think that's very, every time, you look at me, say, अच्छा है या बुरा है वो बाद में बात करेंगे. तो सर बाद में बात करेंगे तो फिर अभी क्यों कर रहे हो? तो बाद में कर लेंगे. अभी तो अच्छा ही बोलो कम से कम उसको. But nevertheless, I think one good thing you can see always over here, the policy guys are being asked to speak at the last. So you could understand, the policy guys are always at the receiving end. When everybody has said, then the policy guy says कि आपने क्या policy बना दी. But nevertheless, if that's the case, couple of things, will make it more interesting. बहुत fire safety हो गया, कुछ और करते हैं. The Mercedes which caught fire in South Korea, I'm still waiting for advertisements from Mercedes saying EVs are at sale and discounted sale of 40%. The EVs are not getting on discounted brackets yet. The government policies make it more affordable. But Mercedes has not dropped the prices of their EVs. The best thing about an EV, what I like is the C-Class to E-Class to S-Class, as the Mercedes goes to the next levels, the vehicle cost in a IC increases, the range drops. In a Mercedes, EV category, as the vehicle is getting more expensive, the kilowattages are betting and your range is going higher. From 200 kilometers, we are talking to 600 kilometers today. There were a couple of questions over here. So I was wanting to know, anybody who has used an EV, is very difficult for him to not use an EV. That's my experience, because we've been using EV as a family for more than 2 years. And the quality of ride in an EV is exceptional. Can somebody tell me what's the running cost of an EV? Rupees per kilometer, हमको सबको पता है. Average India में, हाँ जी सर बताओ. बहुत बढ़िया. Anybody would like to disagree? 2 rupees, 1 rupee, 50 paisa. Fair enough, not bad. Nobody is saying 9 rupees. 10 rupees is the not right number, unless until you are charging everything at home, outside. At 24 rupees a unit. At 18%. My home, I charge at 4 rupees 15 paisa per unit. 1 kilowatt gives me 5 kilometers, 1 kWh, and that makes it less than 1 rupee. And when my EV goes for a maintenance or for servicing, I pay 2,000 rupees for a car, which is in the cost range of about 30-40 lakhs. So 2,000 to 3,000 rupees is the service cost of an EV. Because there's nothing in an EV to service except for wipers, shockers, suspension, brake shoes, period. Nothing more than that. It's one of the best environmental car I love to use because there is no oil coming out of it. There's no tailpipe emission. So I think EV is here to stay, whether we like it or not. We need to make systems which will work for making that technology work for us. So the whole idea remains, and I completely agree with you, sir. And just because I'm part of the NBC, probably do not take what has got published has got my consent. I am also the bad boy there. I do have a lot of arguments with the committee on many things, and you will see as it comes. There are many things which probably are not internationally read before adopting them and writing them. In fact, I landed up giving to the committee one of the links from the website which criticized India for the draft 2025 saying this way the country won't move. You know, the way we are formulating it to be, I would say, not allowed so. You know, so I personally feel, now we have Rahangdale sir, whom I have been knowing for last about 18 years, 15 years, about seeing him going into the seat of fire. A man who's sitting over here, who has led from the front. And we cannot let our people to be exposed to that risk. If they are responsible for us, we are equally responsible for them. Couple of things which we'll have to get matured and we'll have to learn from my perspective is that I think mechanical stack parking are a very big problems for EVs. Because one car over the other, the car catches a fire, and don't forget, unplugged car catch fire. It's not just charging. Unplugged cars are getting fired, car catching fire. So you could imagine when we have, you know, soldiers like them, I would use the word, to step into the space, and we have got mechanized car park, one car over the other, one car catches fire. I think it's a bad day for the society. It's a bad day for the humanity, because we have got into the trouble. Mechanical car parks, we have to get matured. EV is one thing. Other things which Rahangdale sir doesn't agree with me is that I say don't park an EV next to an IC. Because an EV fire is projectile fires. They are projectile fires. He will agree more than anybody with me. If an EV catches fire, it's like a firework. It's not the fire which we see at one concentrated location. It's a fireworks where you can see projectiles and tractiles actually emerging from the seat of fire. So it actually flies and ignites somebody else, some other vicinity fires. If you have an IC, internal combustion engine, or a CNG, it's a fuel to the fire next to the EV. We have disagreements of people saying, this is my car park, this is your car park, I change my car, I won't go anywhere. Sir, there are certain things which we have to do as a society. If you live in a non-smoking and a smoking room in a hotel, what makes you to shift from one place to the other if your typology is to be smoking or not to be smoking? So if you have an EV, kindly move your car to the next location. It's a swap. We are not taking away. One thing is EVs and ICs not need to be having segregation. Other thing is stack parking. That's another challenge we'll have to talk. Look, we can't solve the problem 100%. Even if we are able to solve the problem to 80-20 principle, we have a solution coming around the corner. So 80-20 would say certain policies which have to be adopted. Structural issues are another issues. When EV fires occur, they have structural damages. Now that leaves me with a big problem of forget about basement. Even if you want to do a EV in an MLCP, that also has a structure. So the point remains is structural integrity. My take is structural part of it, better structural resistivity in terms of areas with EV parkings, compartmentations of EVs. 200 square meters is a no-go. I'm apologizing, it doesn't work. 200 square meters in the present draft. Second is mechanical stack parking, not for EVs. EVs and ICs. Haan sir, bolo.
I just wanted to have a debate. That's the reason the developers hates you guys who makes policies. The reason is, have you seen the Bombay? Bombay is totally rehab. 80% of the buildings, they have a mechanical parking, puzzle parking. There's no way, even in the building where I'm staying, and apart from that, the surface parkings are on a premium. Like, paisa itna dena padta hai, agar hai to. So there's no way you can have a compartmentation and all that. What is my take into it is, okay, practically, there is a solution which is required to be thinking on installations. The installation, what we are talking about, the mist, or forget about mist, okay? The sprinkler system or drainage system, why not to integrate that system with something good solution where you have a very good cooling effect, so that if at all there is a fire, you can break it at one junction, and then there should be a good salvage. So believe me not, अगर हम लोग तो बॉम्बे में तुमको आना बंद कर देगा, तुम बोलेगा अगर कंपार्टमेंट.
Now look dear friends, My
No,
two panelists, they are not on the same page. They are, I mean, one is a policy maker, one is a policy implementer.
Sir, Bombay is
and
a
then-
different world in India.
Yeah.
The way
But
people
he
live
has
over
eaten
there.
up your time,
But
man.
Nevertheless, I think the K factor of sprinkler, the design density, the engineering approach is one of the good solutions. So there are things which are not doable in certain locations. Today we can't make Safdarjung Hospital safe. You know, it's a building which exists. But there are steps which we can take to make sure that in the given conditions, how we are able to resolve the problem.
So
you.
basically,
Please.
it's not Bombay. Every part, Surat jao, Delhi jao. What is difference between Delhi and Bombay? Nothing, same. We are into a rehab. These are the practical solution and really, and then when you are talking about getting dynamism into the world, infrastructure changing, everything is changing. Why not our approach, thinking of us, what kind of installation required? क्यों नहीं उसको change करता है? So that is what is my request rather.
Thank you,
I
Prabhat.
personally feel, sir, if we have the right directive given, people will be very much adaptive.
Thank you, Sandeep, and thank you, Prabhat. In fact, Prabhat, you are not only firefighter, you are giving a kind of a clues to Sandeep to frame a kind of a engineering solution so that even in the odd condition you can park. We cannot avoid the electrical vehicles in the country. Nobody is stopping all over the world. But only you have to find a solution. And firefighters can issue the orders which can be countered by the bureaucrats. My point is that of course, we can't avoid EVs, but we have to frame a good policy. And through good policies, we can, ensure the safety of our citizens. I'm expecting
firefighters are also engineers.
Yeah, I know. I am expecting more questions. Only 2 questions I have got. One is very valid, and other one is little bit above my head because somebody wants me to answer for the security. I started with a bomb, so he is just giving the counter, kind of a questions. I have a question. I have a time as well. Quick, would you like to? Hello, Prashant. Would you like to add something in a 1 minute? We have a short of time, so just if you want to summarize your anything in a 1 minute. You can start with it.
Sure. I mean, a lot of interesting discussions coming from all of you. But I'm just giving you a perspective which we've been talking throughout the day. Is what's the outlook for the future? And we all know that that's where the future is heading for. We are all going to move towards the EV vehicles. And then what do we need for that? We really need to go through these lessons learned. We really need to learn to collaborate and use these best practices from the other countries that have already implemented this initiatives. And I feel, again, as a layman's term, it's like building an infrastructure all over again within your existing infrastructure. Because we've got buildings, we can't break them down and build new buildings. So now we have to figure out how to have that infrastructure within these old buildings. So it's like creating a big transport hub and at the same time getting to safety. So you guys are all experts. I'm sure we are moving forward in that direction. And I think we are progressively thinking in that direction.
Thank you. 30 seconds for you. 30 seconds for you. You want to say something as a concluding statement from your side?
So I agree with sir, but at the same time, as a customer, right, when I'm paying some money to buy some product, the product manufacturer has to ensure all the safety norms, right, all the safety measures in the product itself as an inherent. So it is not that I'll buy for the product safety. I will keep something in my home. I will make the compartment. I will ensure that something, some stuff. I will make some mechanisms to protect myself. It is not the case, which is I disagree. The 100% the manufacturer has the liability and they are having the responsibility to produce or give you the proper, the safest, the sustainable, reliable product to you. For that, they need to do some like advanced technology, whatever it's available, they need to use it, and then they need to produce the component or product which can reliable by itself. That is what I suggest from my side.
Thank you. Yes, Sandeep. Any Mahakavya from Mahavakya from your side?
No, sir. I think as a policy working, we should collaborate. I think collaboration is the only way we can succeed. We have got, sir just said himself, firefighters and engineer, he's a PhD. The other gentleman is also a PhD. So they are not firefighters, they are academicians. We have a lot of research available. World is open to us. But I think we should go back and research and implement systems, and society at large, I'm sure they are all here to help us. But we need to be clear to do it right. And I think we can definitely collaborate mutually.
Thank you. 1 minute to you only, because I have 5 minutes.
Just
for them.
last take, okay? I think my colleagues are there. We bought how many normal fire, the petrol or diesel. The cause of the fire was, you know what, rats. The electrical short circuit happens, and then Aji mera gadi from servicing came, and it's on a fire. How it happens? But rats is one of the nuisance in most of the, in our country. You can put it, not only in Mumbai. Okay, that is one thing. The second thing is my own experience. Every 6 months I have to send my vehicle for checkup, the reason behind it, and luckily there are sensors nowadays. So any default happen, the sensor goes like, you know, it shows that some default is there, and when it goes to the garage, it says that, sir, rat ne chuha kata hai, whatever. So there is a technology which is available, and this is a basic thing which is one of the thing which is required. The best EV fire cannot be fought 101% because extinguisher कुछ चलने वाला नहीं है, because it's on a base. Bonnet खोलने is like very easy to open the bonnet, but how can you get yourself penetrate into the real site of the fire? In EV it is not possible.
Yeah.
Salvage is the only thing.
Wow.
You require to have a good long distance firefighting solution, and again the engineering.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I told you that at last I will give you a kind of a solution which is required. You know, for the parking of these EV vehicles, if we are parking somewhere in the basement, and then you need a quick firefighting system, China has developed a robo. Through that, at least it can put that particular device below the car, because battery is below the car, and that is the encased one, that is in the steel or the aluminum body. So as rightly mentioned by Dr. Prabhat, you cannot extinguish fire unless it is exposed. So we have to wait for the kind of explosion, for the breakage of that particular casing, and once it happens, then you can put that device. So thinking that, I thought that I will purchase few for my own company, and it was difficult to get from the China. So what I did, I tried to find different things, and USA they have developed a turtle, and in India there is a spider. So I have straightforward purchase a few spider which we can put below the car, and it will throw water. It can start extinguishing from the below or cooling down from the below. At the same time, my sprinkler will work from the top. The sprinkler density, of course, right now we are using the 5 LPM, which is required to be upgraded to 8.1 or the 12. It is the final decision the Sandeep will take. So this is exactly required. Same time, we have to protect the structure as well, because if the EV fire is there, you cannot extinguish for 90 minutes. And the adjoining fire, somebody is sending me the question, I have already procured a blanket, EV blanket. But my dear friends, EV blanket is not the solution to extinguish the fire. EV blankets, you can use it to just as a salvage, as Prabhat told you, that you can save the adjoining cars, right? So you can at least stop the penetration of fire from EV to non-EVs or gasoline. So for that, EV blankets I have already purchased. So EV blanket is there, firefighting system from the below the car is there. You can use it. Sprinkler density, if we change, we can at least, you know, compartmented all those risk factors instead of that. Now there is a lot of question, 2 minutes left out. So I will just first... about this hospital, EV charging infrastructure, I told you, as per the policy guideline of Ministry of Power, you cannot have the EV chargers, you know, the fast charger in the basement. If you want, then you should obtain the NOC from the fire brigade. Fire brigades are not giving the NOC. I faced this in Maharashtra, in Gurgaon, Delhi. They are not giving a kind of guidelines and issuing that you cannot have these fast chargers. So we removed all the fast chargers over all our establishment, and we said, if you want a fast charger, go install it at on the ground, and with the individual trickle chargers, individual can charge it. So by, I think, telling that, I have given the answer for your hospital. Very sensitive idea. There is a one very good question, and it is a counter to my opening remark. Yeah, 1 minute is left out, Sagira, don't worry. Let me take my 1 minute. I hope no more questions. There are so many questions. Anyway, the things which countered by this gentleman must be from the cyber things. Reference use of pager blast of Palestine and Israel in past. So I said use of mobile by population in part of life. This may be, sorry to read out, exploited by the summer. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. You can regulate your mobile, you can ensure that the failure of a charging facility overheating, it is possible. It can be done. Somebody said, is fire blanket can be used to cover an EV while it is on the fire? No. You should not cover, otherwise you will face the explosion. And recently the UL, along with the NFPA, has issued a straightforward guidelines, and he countered the claims of EV blanket manufacturers. Though I have purchased EV blankets, but I told you my purpose is not to fight fire EV, but to safeguard the adjoining property. Second was keeping a blanket of EV charging or the part, what would be the best solution in the existing building. I think it was simple water curtain. Yeah, you can, I told you in the existing building, if you want, you can increase the density of water. Because this 5 LPM, which is stipulated in our standard, is not enough. So you increase the density of water, density of sprinkler from 5.6 to, as stipulated in the National Building NFPA, it's 8.1. Either you go and adopt the 8.1 or straightforward go to the IS 15105, it's 12.2. And then in that case, you have to increase the water capacity also. Right now, we are only asking for 1 hour water capacity tank. If you want to counter this EV fire, you have to increase for 1.5 hours. So 90 minutes is the latest study done by the Sweden. Anything happen in the EV car fire, it will last for 90 minutes. National Policy of Fire Brigade, GPS and turnaround times to mass to fire location. National policy as per the National Building, as per the Standing Fire Advisory Council, is 5 to 7 minutes on a high hazard area. So that's the national policy. We expect a fire brigade to be there. But at the same time, we expect the builders, those who are building a good township, to have their own fire tenders to meet the response time. Because there is a shortage of 85% of the firefighting facilities and 65% shortage in terms of fire stations. So my definitely response time I am not putting at the national level, though there are the guidelines. States have a better, a few states are doing pretty good, like Odisha. Instead of 341 fire stations, they have almost 383 fire stations. So they are doing good. Few states are really doing good. I mean, they are above the national policy as well. Their response time is good. Others are lacking, and there is a big gap. But thanks to the government of India, since last 15 years, we had disbursed more than 10,000 crore for the development of fire services. Even the 15th Finance Commission, sorry, I'm taking last 1 minute. 15th Finance Commission had allocated 5,000 crores of rupees for the development of fire stations and the firefighting vehicles. So with this note, I would like to end up my presentation. Thank you very much. I, in fact, was worried that how I will, conduct my session to the security guy, the cyber, those who are keep on talking. And after me also, they will start talking a little bit about the security and the cyber, the attack and other things. In between that, Gary put me as a fire, and that too after a tea session. Where he thought that, after taking tea, your level may be a little bit high because of the sugar. And thanks to Gary of thinking and giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much to IIRIS.